What's up, fight fans? Main man, Mademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. What up to the fam? What up to everybody in Main Man, Mademan's boxing form? Hey, look, man. So the thing is this. Want to give a hearty congratulations to Filip Hrgovic for getting the unanimous decision victory over Joe Joyce and beating Joe Joyce on all three judges' scorecards. Two of the judges giving it to him 97-93. And the other 98-92, with the third judge giving it 96-95. A close fight according to that third judge. And to be honest with you, fight fans, I thought I saw a close fight too. I thought that Joe Joyce, he did the typical Joe Joyce thing. He came out very, very slow. Hand speed going to be slow, foot speed a bit slow, taking a whole bunch of punches, right? And I thought early in the fight, man, Joe Joyce came out in the opening round, didn't do that well. But I thought that he picked it up in like rounds 2, 3, and maybe even 4, where he looked to put Hrgovic on that back foot. And Hrgovic had to take moments off in the fight. Not to mention, Hrgovic started to get busted up. His eyes started to show a lot of discoloration, fight fans, at this portion of the fight. Joe Joyce was coming forward slow, but coming forward, working behind that slow jab, trying to break Hrgovic down upstairs and downstairs. Was looking to try to land that left hook also to the body in constantly, but it just wasn't working. The thing was, Filip Hrgovic was landing the cleaner shots, the harder right hands, and a series of constant overhand rights that was giving Joe Joyce fits as he was coming forward. The thing is that at portions of the fight, Joe Joyce was definitely up. I mean, perhaps maybe even through the first, I'd say 6 or 7 rounds, Joe Joyce was up in this fight. He was outworking Hrgovic. He hurt Hrgovic several times. He had Hrgovic in a lot of retreat mode. But once again, Hrgovic was kind of taking his opportunities between Joe Joyce's wide shots or slow shots. Or, as the fight kind of went on, he kind of flipped strategies and started to counterpunch Joe Joyce more. And this led to him once again landing the cleaner shots down the stretch. Joe Joyce, unfortunately, did not finish this fight strong. Normally in Joe Joyce's previous fights, given that he's a drip by drip kind of fighter, normally he has to finish strong. And usually, given that he's not putting, too much pepper on his shots, he's normally the guy that can finish the stronger and outlast his opponents and just kind of chip them away. However, in this case here, Filip Hrgovic kind of caught a second wind going down the stretch. And though it was, he was kind of tired early on in the fight, and Joe Joyce was taking his opportunities then. Down the stretch, Hrgovic caught a second win, and once again was able to move a bit more efficiently and counter Joe Joyce and with cleaner shots. And Joe just started taking more and more shots down the stretch, and he got a bit more tired down the stretch. Shots started to come in a bit wide, started to lose his balance at times, and the fight, he just did not finish the fight very, very strong. And so the three judges, more so, I'm sure if I watched the judges' scorecards, they probably gave Filip Hrgovic this fight more so in the second half of this fight, because this is where he pretty much took the fight and ran with it. Joe started to get hit too much, just wasn't doing enough landing himself or enough clean landing himself. And it's just like the writing was just kind of, on the wall. But I do think that this was a very close fight. I'm not sure if my scorecard agrees with the scorecards of the other two judges, but the guy who got it 96-95, I think we're around in that ballpark. You know what I'm saying? I think honestly, if I was to give this fight to Filip Hrgovic, it will only be by maybe about 2 rounds. It was a really, really close fight. Joyce did well at spots in this fight, by Joe Joyce's standards, of course. But at the end of the day, he just did not finish strong enough and did not do enough landing going down the stretch, man. So Filip Hrgovic now revives his career as well. We know that the 32-year-old Croatian took a loss to Daniel Dubois, which kind of resetted him. And it had a lot of fans looking at him funny, you know what I mean? Not to mention, but the good thing is that, he only got 1 loss. So the only loss that he has is to Daniel Dubois. We know Filip Hrgovic got big wins over Zilio Zhang. And not to also mention, him and Joe Joyce are amateur rivals. So settling the score in the pros got to be also another feather in the cap of Filip Hrgovic. I mean, Filip Hrgovic is considered basically a top 10 heavyweight by nowadays standards. He's rated in the top 10 of 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies, from what I understand. And he's hoping to win tonight would definitely return him back to the big conversations and kind of knocking on the door for a title shot. So we're going to see where his new ranking would be after this victory with Joe Joyce. Now, we also saw tonight Dillian Whyte being ringside. And we do know that originally it was supposed to be Dillian Whyte versus Joe Joyce. However, Dillian Whyte had got injured. And so Filip Hrgovic took this on short notice. And so maybe, you know, next up, because I see Dillian Whyte is also talking trash in interviews about Filip Hrgovic. So maybe next up they line up a fight between Dillian Whyte and Filip Hrgovic, and we'll see how that kind of goes. But, you know, Frank Warren at Queensbury Promotions got control of Filip Hrgovic, and there's a lot of doors that Hrgovic can go down by being next to Frank Warren. So we'll see how it all works out. Hrgovic versus Dillian Whyte is not a bad fight. I think I'd definitely take that. But I'm sure maybe Hrgovic maybe wants someone at least to be, you know, in his next fight to assure him that whatever his victory is next, that he should be knocking on the door 100% for his next fight to be a title shot, or at the very least for a mandatory. So maybe he's looking for something like that after getting such a high-profile victory. So we'll see how it all works out, man. Good stuff tonight, man. Entertaining heavyweight scrap here, man. Now, as for Joe Joyce, bro, I know a lot of folks are saying that he should retire. I mean, he's 39 years old, soon to be 40. We know he's taking a couple losses at this point, even in his last fight, losing to Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is a heavyweight that has 13 losses, so that's got to be a really, really tough loss for Joe Joyce. Taking the losses that he's taken in recent times, the Zilly Zhang loss, it's got to be tough for Joe, you know, and it's hard to see what route can honestly come out of nowhere for him. I mean, Frank can maybe open some doors for him, but where would Joe Joyce go? I mean, he would probably go down in level to the local scene, and I don't know if Joe Joyce is probably comfortable with being in that position at this portion of his career. He doesn't seem to be getting any better. He's going to be digressing at this point. A lot of people fear for his health. They know that he got a real big heart, and he's not going to just go down for anybody. Joe Joyce's superpower is the ability to take so many punches, and he's going to be doing that no matter what fight you put him in. And so folks will start to be concerned about his health at this portion of his career. I would be concerned about his health as a boxer fan as well, and I don't think that Joe Joyce got nothing left. I mean, he didn't seem, it wasn't a big, you know, era of victory tonight. You know, it's not like Hrgovic steamrolled him. I mean, Joyce was winning this fight up to about maybe 8 or 9 rounds into this fight. So, I mean, it wasn't a big margin of victory, but still, it's just like, where would he go? And who would we honestly give Joe Joyce a chance on beating at this portion of his career? And when you start asking questions like that, fam, and especially when you're talking about health, then maybe it's time to hang him on up. And I'm a huge fan of Joe Joyce, really appreciative of some of the fights that he's given us in the past. And unfortunately, he never made it back to that big one with Oleksandr Usyk, who's also a rival from his amateur days. So we'll see which decision that Joe Joyce makes. Like I said, man, hopefully he thinks about his health first, and we'll just keep our eyes to the headlines to see how it all works out. Thumbs up on the way out. You didn't hit it on the way in. Share. Rock those bells. To the next video, fam. Peace out.